Well, welcome to the Christy Jones Show, where it's all about living your life to the fullest. I'm a life coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate, and I've had wild success in multifamily housing for over 25 years now. I am so passionate about helping others merge their success and lead a fulfilling life. And I bring it all together right here on this podcast. So join me and let's get started to live your life to the fullest. Well, hey, my friend, welcome back. This is part two of staying steady in the storm, the storms of life, right? The things that we just didn't see coming around the corner, sometimes the things that we do see coming around the corner. But if you didn't get last week's episode, you definitely want to go listen to that because you really have to start there. Part one of Steady in the Storm, I talked to you about the foundation, building your foundation. That's really the key component to learning how to stay steady in the storms of life. And really, like, both hands on the wheel. You're not going to be high and low, feelings, emotions, all the things all over the place. This is about staying steady in the storm. So go give episode 51 a listen if you have not. But here's what I got for you today. So in part two of Steady in the Storm, I'm sharing with you 5 tips, 5 practical things that you can put into play right away in your life, especially if you are in it right now. Like you're like, Kirsty, I am walking through a crazy storm right now. This has really been a challenge. Then you got to listen to this episode. You have to implement these 5 things so that you are taking really good care of yourself while you are staying steady in the storm. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. So here we go. And I'm going to give you the 5 things that you're going to want to have in your toolkit. Let's get started. So I want to give you maybe 5 or 6, and I made some notes here for myself. 5 or 6 things that I feel are important when you're going through a storm and how they're going to help you stay steady in the storm. I've already talked about the component of faith, and that is extremely important to me. And if that resonates with you as well, then lean into your faith, lean into that inner knowing. Um, God wants us to have faith and have faith in him. And when you're in a storm, you may not have all the answers. Most likely you don't. And that's the faith component of that is such a strong factor to really help you maintain steadiness through the storm. So here's 5 or 6 things that I would want you to practice and to know as you're in a storm that's really going to be a difference maker for you. So your mindset, oh my gosh, number 1, so important. You have to have the right mindset. You have to focus. Your mindset matters. Your mindset of where you are when you're going through this storm, it's going to make all the difference. So focusing on having a resilient mindset. Well, Kirsty, how do I do that? How do I have a resilient mindset? Right now, I want you to think of one time that you were up against a challenge. Any challenge, big or small. I want you to think of that one challenge. And it's in your past. And guess what? You're still here. You're still here. You're listening to this episode right now. And you've gone through a storm in your life and you're still standing. You're still right here. That right there should give you reassurance of how resilient you are. It didn't take you out. Life sometimes tries to take us out. Situations sometimes try to take us out. But it didn't take you out. Your mindset is everything. Faith and mindset. Faith was my number 1. I've been talking about that for a while now. So I'm going to move on to these others. So your mindset completely, it's a game changer. And you have to focus on that. You have to focus on your resiliency. And in life or in business, when you are faced with adversity, you become stronger. You become stronger. When we face those challenges, when we face any adversity, it does not make us weaker. We get through it and we get on the other side of it, and we are better because of it. We are stronger. We have wisdom. We have experience. So know that mindset, resiliency, focus on that. Another food for thought when you're going through a storm is I want you to focus on being adaptable and being flexible. Adaptable and flexible. We are going to have unexpected things come up in life. The storms generally, well, many of them are not planned. I mean, think about the storms that have come in your life. Did you plan them? Did you put it on your calendar for March of 2024? I am going to be going through this in March of 2024. Were you planning on that divorce to happen? Were you planning on losing that job? Were you planning on, you insert the situation? Were you planning on that happening? Were you planning on the person that you're spending your life with being unfaithful to you? Were you planning on that? Most likely you weren't planning on that. So, adaptability and flexibility. You have to stay flexible and adaptable when we're in these seasons, when we're in the storm. I know we want to have like a cookie cutter situation that this is what it needs to look at when I get through the storm. The end result needs to look like this. Paint the picture. Well, you're not staying adaptable and flexible in your mind of what the outcome is going to be. What are things going to look like on the other side of the storm? Stay open to that. Don't have a fixed mindset on what that must be. You know, look, we all think we have the best ideas, right? But you know who has the right solution? In my opinion, God has the right solution. I'm going to always stay open to what I think is the best, you know, what it needs to be, what the next career move I need to make, what that dream job's going to look like, whatever it might be. I get laid off from here. This is the only job. This is the type of job that I need to have. This is the career I need to go into. Be open. You know, a power much greater than you might have a much grander idea, plan. Stay open. Stay open. So be flexible. Be adaptable. When we get so stuck in our ways, when we're going through a storm, and it has to be exactly like this, you're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck right there because it's not matching up to the little picture that you painted. So remain adaptable, remain flexible in your mind and your thoughts. When you're going through a storm, third thing I want you to put on your list to do is you've got to take care of yourself. Self-care, nurturing yourself, fueling yourself, giving your mind, body, and spirit what it needs when you're going through a storm is instrumental. It really is. Because, I mean, you're getting beat with that storm every day, every single day. I can think of in our business years ago, I can think of a situation that Steve and I, my husband and I, were going through that I mean, it was a big storm, and we had to really focus in on our mental, physical well-being to make sure we were getting enough sleep. So we wake up ready for the battle, ready to make it through the storm, making sure we eat well, so sleep. I'm talking basic stuff, you guys, when it comes to self-care. When you're going through these storms, you've got to rest well. And if you have faith that things are going to work out as they should, you will be able to sleep better at night. So rest, get sleep, eat well. You can't malnourish your body from, good food. You can't pump it with a bunch of junk and get quality. Does that make sense? I mean, I always use this example when I'm talking to people that when we're on maybe a discussion about wellness, when you go to fill up your car with gas, some cars on the label, on the gas tank thing, whatever that thing calls. See, I'm not a car person. Whatever that thingamajig is called, and you open it and it tells you what level of gas the car has to have. Well, some vehicles have to have the highest level of gas. I think it's like 91 or 92 or something like that. And if you don't put that in it and you put another type of gas in it, the car is not going to perform as well. Possibly, I don't know, maybe other things happen. I've never really challenged that. I don't want to see what happens. But I've been told, like, it's not good for that engine. You're not putting the best quality thing that car is required to have to perform at its best. So don't go, same thing. Why would you put diesel fuel in a gas vehicle? It's not going to work. So what we fuel our bodies with matters. If you're going to just constantly give it junk, you're not going to get as good a quality coming out. It's hard to really have the best well-being. You've got to pay attention to what you're putting in, not only in our mouth, but also in our brain. What are we watching? What are we listening to? So what you're consuming, let me say that. You've got to practice good self-care. And that is going to be one of the major contributors for your well-being that you can do when you're in a turbulent time. Embracing change, which kind of goes back to adapting and being flexible. But I want to talk about embracing change because I feel one of the biggest fears humans have is the fear of change. And I mean, I get why there's a fear of change, but we're all wired differently. And I actually like change. So there's moments I'm like, I fear change, but I actually really like change. And I've been that way for, I think, for a long, long, long time. Going back to, I probably was, I don't know, how old was I? 14, 15 is when 13 or 14. And when that change happened, and then going through the years after that made me realize change is amazing. And sometimes what you're fearing change will bring, it's the exact opposite. And it's 10 times greater than what you ever imagined. So a transition I went through when I was 13, 14, and then, which I thought was awful because I was having to move, ended up being the absolute best thing ever. It didn't take me too long to realize that, but it took me a little while. Like the first year I was like, I don't know about this. But embrace change. Don't fear change. One thing that is true is that we are always evolving. We are always evolving. Nothing ever stays the same. Nothing ever stays the same. That should be refreshing. Can you imagine everything being the same our entire life? I mean, so boring. So boring. Would you want to get up and have the exact same breakfast every single morning? I mean, we live a long time now. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm living to like 100 at least. I just know it. I mean, I seriously know it. Like I've been planning on my celebrating 100 for, I don't know, since I was like 20. I just kind of knew it. And we're here a long time. So I want change. I love change. I embrace change. So embrace change. Don't fear it. I think people fear change just because it's not familiar. And so they want to be comfortable. That's the other thing. People fear change because they want to remain comfortable. But nothing, not nothing, I won't say nothing. People fear change because they want to remain comfortable. But growth and all the things that are you're hoping and wishing for are on the other side of change. They're on the other side of that. It's like a coin. It's like right on the other side of the coin. And you shouldn't fear change. It's okay. Like if you are uncomfortable, you are going to be just fine. You're going to be okay. People want to stay comfortable. And I think it's really a good practice to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation on a very regular basis. Something that you're scared to do, go do it. Something that you're like got fear about trying, try it. Someone you want to talk to that you're like scared to talk to because you think they may not accept you, go talk to them. You want to ask somebody out on a date, but you fear they're going to reject you, ask them out. Yeah, they might reject you. They might go, no, that's okay. I have plans or whatever. I don't know. What do people say now? I've been out of that circuit so long. I don't know what they say, but whatever you say, when you're saying no to someone asking you out on a date, whatever that is, okay, you're going to be fine. Like we have to get used to being uncomfortable. That is how we evolve into our best self. If you want to have an amazing life, then you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in discomfort on a regular basis. So there's that. And then gratitude. When we're going through a storm, we have to really focus in on what we're grateful for. So have a gratitude practice, whether that's you writing down 2 or 3 things each day. If you like to write them down before you go to bed at night, however you want to incorporate it in your routine, but make sure that you are cultivating a gratitude mindset. When you do that, it's another way you're pouring into yourself and also your mindset. There's so much. Every day we can find something to be grateful for. Every single day, even on what we think is the worst days that we're like, this is the absolute worst. We can find something to be grateful for. So have a gratitude practice. When you're going through a storm, you cannot abandon your gratitude practice because that's going to help you stay tapped in, to help you stay steady in the storm. So all of these things that I've just shared with you are ways to help you stay steady in the storms of life. The storms are going to come, my friend. They're going to come and they're going to go. Life is in perpetual motion. And when we get better at staying steady in the storm, both hands on the wheel, steady in moving through the storm, steady in our emotions, knowing that all is well. All is well. I believe everything is always working for our good. And it maybe doesn't feel like it at the moment, but we can't always operate out of a place of just how we feel in the moment, because feelings are fleeting. Like they come, they go. Think about how many different ways you feel in the course of a day. Our feelings can be all over the map. Stay grounded in your foundation. Stay grounded in what you know to be true. Take these 5 or 6 things that I've given you and put them in your toolkit as you go through the year, as you go through your life. Pull them out as you need to. All right, my friend. Well, I have really enjoyed talking about this topic today, staying steady in the storm. If you needed to hear this, will you drop me a message on DM and let me know? Um, we all are going to go through storms in life. We all are going to go through them. It's how we go through them that really matters. So each storm, you become more and more resilient. And pretty soon, you're just like, okay, another storm. I can handle this. I can handle this. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to remain steady in the storm. All right, you guys know I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Please rate and review the show and send this to a friend. Send this episode to a friend or family that you want to share this episode with. Okay, go make the rest of your day absolutely fabulous. And I'll see you here next week for more on how to live your life to the fullest. Take care. I just want to thank you for tuning in today to the podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation and all the info that's been shared today. And I hope you've come away with a few ideas on how to make the most out of it for your life. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and also make sure you subscribe to the podcast and tap that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would leave a podcast review. So until next time, my friend, keep flourishing and thriving and live your life to the fullest.